Coastal alvars, found on the Bruce Peninsula, provide unique habitat for rare plants and animals. Alvars are rare, unique ecosystems only existing in Ontario, Sweden, Estonia, and the northwestern United Kingdom. These habitats, covered in bedrock and shallow soils, are recognized for their distinctive flora and fauna, including uncommon wildflowers, mosses and lichens, grasses and sedges, and stunted trees. Many species are not only restricted to living in the Great Lakes region, but are provincially, nationally, or globally rare. The shallow soils of Alvars range from 0 to 20 centimeters. The underlying bedrock limits drainage after rainfall, causing frequent and rapid flooding. Many species that live in Alvars are far from their normal range, but able to survive in shallow soils and harsh conditions. Some rare animals found in Alvars include Eastern Massasauga rattlesnake, the eastern fox snake, the mottled duskywing, and several endemic land snails. Some Alvars in the coastal corridor are protected by parks and non-governmental organizations. However, they still face a number of threats and stressors. Overgrazing from pastured animals poses the biggest threat to Alvars through removal of vegetation from the shallow soil overlay. Other threats include rock mining activities, land use change and development, invasive species, climate change, vehicle use, and ATVing. Alvars are often unknown or underappreciated. More awareness on the importance of Alvars needs to be done to educate on their importance and requirement for special treatment and preservation. The majority of Alvars within Lake Huron's coastal corridor are privately owned and overlap cottage communities. Therefore, private stewardship and conservation strategies hinge on the knowledge and experience of the community. Landowners can make important contributions to Alvar conservation by restricting overgrazing, preventing the use of ATVs, and by removing invasive species in these habitats. Lake Huron is home to roughly 25,000 islands, ranging in size from small, barely visible shoals to the largest freshwater island in the world. The island clusters along Lake Huron's southeastern shores are ecologically unique, but are distinct from one another in their history and cultural significance. Some islands have rare species, while others are temporary rest stops for migratory wildlife. Many of the islands have provided safe refuge for generations of flora and fauna, fostering unique adaptations to the animals and plants living here, such as the ability to live on rocky shorelines. More than 12 globally rare species have been documented on Lake Huron Islands, including the piping plover, eastern fox snake, ram's head lady slipper, Hill's thistle, and western moonwort. Islands close to mainland areas are wind barriers and wave breaks, diminishing wave action along the mainland shoreline, influencing sediment transport patterns greatly. The protective barrier of islands have allowed sand and sediment to settle in the lee side of the island, creating wetland and beach areas on the mainland shores. Plants and animals on Lake Huron Islands are different from the mainland by virtue of their isolation. Lake levels, development, limited migration, and invasive species are some documented disturbances to islands. Many of these threats increased by climate change. Protecting island habitats by removing invasive species, keeping development to a minimum, and removing in-water structures are all actions that will improve the ecological integrity and habitat for rare plants and animals living on Lake Huron's islands. To find out more, go to lakehuron.ca.